Battle of New York is in the books, and although I wouldn't say that either team got embarrassed because the game did go back and forth. It was a very good day for the Jets and another very tough day for the Giants. Let's take the Jets first. Um, they came out very sharp in this game. They had a good game plan early on. They got Sam Donald off to a good start. Um, and then the Giants obviously battled back and took advantage of some of the things the Jets continue to have problems with. The Jets have problems with penalties. The Jets have problems, obviously, with any coverage in the secondary. And they have problems with their offensive line. Neither team had a running game in any way. I'll get to that in a minute. But what this game did was put the Jets at least back on a little solid footing. They can talk pie in the sky about the rest of their season. I'll let them do that. But if you were looking for Gaze to be gone, he's not going anywhere. This game saved his job for the rest of the season, and now we'll see what the rest of the season offers in terms of how they play. You saw the good things that Sam Donald can do in terms of decision making, throwing the football. He is a guy who, as a matter of fact, I think both quarterbacks are guys who have futures. I don't think there's any question now that they both have futures. They both have some issues that they have to correct. They need to have better teams around them. But I think both have proven that they have talent. They both can play in this league. I don't think there's any question about either one of them being able to play in the league now. As far as the Giants, it was another terrible day and another bad day for their head coach, who just continues. As a matter of fact, both coaches boggled the mind a little bit with their decision-making late in the game. Gaze with the ridiculous challenges he made, and Shermer with his use of the timeouts. If you are going to sell out and use all your timeouts that early in the fourth quarter, then you are committing to go on fourth down. You cannot, under any circumstances. Now, I understand his premise. It's fourth and long. Look what happened on third down. It's fourth and long. I'm trying to get a turnover on a punt. I'm trying to get a change of possession. Maybe I'll get a fluke play. The ball bounced the right way, or we'll get a fumble on one of the ensuing plays. No. You have a much better chance of getting a defensive hold on fourth down. You have a much better chance of getting a pass interference call on fourth down. You have a much better chance of getting a roughing the passer call than you do getting any of the others. So when you commit your timeouts that early, which was extremely risky, if you do that, okay, and he came within an inch of having it end right at the moment where they would have got a first down and really embarrassed the heck out of them as they took knees for the last couple of minutes of the game. That didn't happen. And they did actually get the ball back, but only with a couple of seconds remaining. It was worthless. You had to go on fourth down. It just makes no sense. One follows the other, and that's just the way it goes. Plus, they did have issues on the offensive line. And remember, they haven't all year. They've had their offensive line intact until this week. But if they put a kid in a tackle, you got to make sure he has tight end help on every down. Not some downs, every single down. Let me get to the running backs for a second. I hope they're both hurt. I hope both the very talented Barkley and the very talented Bell are hurt, because if they're not, then there's something sure wrong with their performance. Bell is hitting the hole like he's in slow motion. There is no explosiveness to his game, not even a little. I understand he likes to slow play it. I understand he likes to read, react, take his time, show patience, use his vision, but he doesn't have a lick of explosiveness. There's no gear. Nothing. There's nothing. There were holes where he didn't get there fast enough. Something is up with him. He's clearly not healthy. I'm going to go on that premise because he looks awful. And then to Barkley, I sure hope he's hurt, because again, there is nothing in the way of explosiveness in his game right now. Nothing. Forget how bad he looks on and reluctant he looks on blitz pickup. Forget the fact that he even looks at times like he's shirking blocking assignments. He doesn't have a lick of explosiveness. There used to be an electricity to his game. It's not there now. He's been beaten down by this. Either that or they brought him back way too early. Listen, I know how talented Barkley is, but he doesn't look like the same back right now. I would sit him down if this is and not put him through this if he's hurt. And if he's not hurt, then find out what the heck is going on, because he doesn't look like the same player. Doesn't even resemble the same player. 13 carries for 1 net yard. Bell 18 carries for 1.9 a pop. Neither one of them getting more than a handful of yards on any carry. When the other backs go in, they look more explosive. It is a problem right now with these two backs, an absolute problem. Daniel Jones did some good things in throwing the ball, especially hitting Slayton with some big plays. He made some really good passes. He also had the Adams play. And let me get to Adams for a second. I've been very critical of Adams. What I said was, don't talk about Super Bowls. Don't talk about yourself. Let your play do the talking and go out and win one game. And that's exactly what he did yesterday. So kudos to him. He played brilliantly. He thrust himself in the middle of the action yesterday. He made a difference. He led his team to victory yesterday. That's what this guy has to do. Does he have a lot of talent? Absolutely. Can he be an all-pro player? Absolutely. But do it. Let your play do the talking. Make your statement on the field. Stop worrying so much about what happens the rest of the week, and that you don't want to be associated with the poor play or associated with the losing. You are associated with it. There's no way around that. You're on the Jets. Make a difference. Let your play be significant. Let people like me talk about how good your play is. And that's how good it was yesterday. It was brilliant. He made an enormous difference in the game yesterday. He was the best player on the field yesterday. He did a tremendous job yesterday. And I'll tell you, the Jets, they didn't help Sam out at all. They had a lot of drops. They had dropped interceptions. They had drops on offense. So they had too many penalties. So the Jets continued along with some of the same things that have continued to plague them. But you know what? They did get the win, so they have to feel good about themselves. And it was a game that continues to show you, as Sam does, when Sam plays well, he continues to show you why you believe in him. He just has to cut out the other stuff. He has to eradicate the crazy play, the give up down from his repertoire. If he does that, he's going to be fine. As a matter of fact, I think both quarterbacks are going to be fine. I really do. I think they're both going to be here for a while. I think they both can play. Now, is that Gettleman and Shermer's salvation? Shermer is neither of these guys are good coaches. I'm sorry. And Shermer hasn't shown you anything as a coach. Not in any way. His decision-making is awful. The team is not prepared for the start of the games. I don't like anything I see from him. Absolutely anything. I don't think the Giants want to change coaches and general manager again. I don't think they do. And I don't think they will, as long as they don't lose every game the rest of the way. Because if they lose every game the rest of the way, I don't think the Giants are going to have anything they can do except make a change. I don't think they could sell these guys to everybody again, to their fan base, if they lost every game. But there's a lot of easy games on the schedule, and there's a couple of tough games with the Eagles. But there's a lot of easy marks on the schedule, and the Giants should be able to win some games. If they do, I think they will express that there's a continuity, that they played a lot of young players, that there was a baptism under fire, and now they're ready to take the quantum leap. They're going to sell you on that. And then next year at this time when they're losing again, and I think they will be under these two, then they'll change the regime again. But I don't think they will do that to Daniel Jones this year. And clearly, Barkley has regressed in their care. Jones continues to make too many mistakes, but he also makes a lot of good throws. And his mobility is enough to get the job done. He's not a runner, but he is a quarterback who can run. And Sam made good decisions yesterday and threw some really good passes yesterday. And when he needed to make some plays, when the game was on the line, when the Giants got ahead and he had to make some plays on the drive, he did. And that was the difference. So to the Jets go the spoils. To Gaze goes a deep breath and a saving of his job. To the Giants, now Shermer more so, Gettleman a little less so, both under the gun and need to get a couple of wins as they hit their bye week. They need to get things straightened around because when you hear when you hear Shermer say in the press conference that they're on the right path, it's hard to buy. This team has won 2 games this year. And let's be honest, they should have lost the Tampa game. I know I keep coming to that, but it's true. They really have beaten one team squarely this year, and that's the Redskins, who have 1 win. And they beat them because Haskins got put in a game and he was awful. They didn't beat them because their offense was good. They beat them for that reason. So the battle in New York won't claim a coach, but it has put the Giants and their tandem of Gettleman and Shermer squarely on the hot seat. And it did take the temperature down a little bit on Gaze. But you know what? He needs to do better. They both need to do better. It wasn't a great looking product, even though it was a Jet win. And you saw a couple of good things. At times it was a game that had you scratching your head with both head coaches. Neither one instills any confidence at the present time. We can talk about degrees of how little that's the truth. I know this has been a